Why is Hong Kong stock market so exciting and so sexy compared to Singapore market, which is so unsexy and so unattractive? In this week's video, I'm going to delve into it and I'm going to talk about three particular stocks that epitomizes this sexiness in Hong Kong. One is Michelin ice cream. Two is basically Catel, CATL, and three Pop Mark, the Labubu maker and distributor. As usual, do smash the like button and subscribe to our video so that on a weekly basis you get fantastic inputs on where to multiply your money and wealth. Let's look at the Singapore market unattractiveness and sianness in the last 15 years. Look at this chart, ladies and gentlemen. No further, you can see that since the market in the last 15 years, it has just done a box, as you can see, in the rectangle between 3005 to 2000 points. You know, remember, in our investment classes, we have actually tell many of our investors stay away from Singapore. Essentially, move your money towards international stocks, particularly US technology stocks and HK stocks in the consumable space in the last 2 years. Now, it's only in late last year that STI managed to break 3,500 points, but yet it's only up another 15, 17 percent, propelled by the banks and propelled by the REITs. But what's going to give now that the banks, especially with OCBC reporting results that showed a drop in NIM, drop in the EPS, exactly what we want in our last video. Do join us and subscribe so that you'll be forewarned on matters. In contrast, let's look at Hong Kong market sexiness. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, that you do not have to look further. Just look at the Hang Seng Index. It's up almost 10,000 points higher, 10,000 points lower, up in the last 1.5 years, from 15,000 points to almost 25,000 points, all up 67%. Are you riding the wave, ladies and gentlemen? But before that, let's talk about what's the meaning of sexy. As defined, sexiness means having traits of exciting, stimulating, interesting, appealing, intriguing, seductive, desirable, alluring, and inviting. And in this week's video, I'm going to show you three stocks that actually epitomizes the meaning of sexiness which Singapore market lacks. That is actually the maker of Labubu, that's Popmark. Two, Michelin ice cream. And number three, the biggest EV electric car maker, or rather the battery maker, that's Catel, CATL. What happened in the last few years? I must tell you that I'm rather no face, no mina. Okay, look at Singapore market as you can see over there. Right, we have less than five IPOs. In fact, for the last 2 years, it's been like that. Mo China. But look at the biggest market as Hong Kong. They have raised almost 20 billion. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, 2025 is not even over yet. Does it mean that Hong Kong is going to creep up to almost 40 billion while Singapore is only left behind to smell the behind? Look at Singapore market again. The number of IPOs have shrunk significantly in the last 1.5 decades. So there's really no room, for Singapore market to feel what we call a 7-year itch. So let's look at essentially one key thing that's very important that's driving Hong Kong market, which I think will continue to propel Hong Kong and make it even more alluring, more exciting, more inviting, and that is the recent fall in the high ball. As you can see, the high ball is similar to Singapore cost of funds for the banking sector, and you can see that lower interest rates always fuel sharp price rises in equity. So are you positioned for this? Because in GCP Global Investment Classes, the next of which is on 30th of August, yes, end of this month, we will prepare you for this. You must have walked into one of the ice cream parlors or stalls, in Singapore. Yes, that's Michelin ice cream. You probably heard the song, you know, the jingle goes like this, right? 你爱我，我爱你，心平成甜蜜蜜。I love you and you love me. 你是蜜雪 ice cream and tea. I love you. But let me tell you in this video why we love Michelin from day one. Not so much about the $1 ice cream cone, not so much about the jingle, but in our investment classes, we highlighted that before it came for IPO, Michelin was really seductive and alluring. And in what sense? Well, it can make us money, ladies and gentlemen. How is that possible? Because it's very apparent if you look at the prospectus. And this is what we showed our investors. You can see that in Michelin, in the last 3 years, from 2022 to possibly this year, estimated, the revenue would have almost gone up 2.5 times from 13 billion to 30 billion. Now, understand that when the company expands quickly, the EBIT also expands from 2.5 billion to a projected 5.6 billion last year to 6.4 billion in this particular year. So you can see the EBIT or earnings before interest and taxes is almost expected to increase by 1 billion this year simply because of the number of stores opening as well as same store profitability. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, which we share with our investors, that Michelin has 45,000 stores worldwide. You know, but what most of it is in China. This means that it has overtaken Starbucks, overtaken Subway, overtaken McDonald's in the number of stores. And guess what? It is still on an expansion bliss. We are looking at 700,000 stores in 2 years' time. Can you beat it, ladies and gentlemen? Because if you can't beat it, better join. In the process, one of the key things that we love about it in this IPO, which we showed to our investors, is the fact that the ROIC, or what we call return on invested capital, one of the very important metric in investment, ladies and gentlemen, which we dwell in all our stocks that we cover in our classes, and which is the hallmark of stocks that have done so well in the last century, is the fact that for Michelin, the ROIC was already at triple digit. Now, let me take a phrase back and ask you, how many Singapore stocks are there that gives ROIC of maybe Mama Taylor 40%, let alone 100%? But more importantly, if you look at Michelin, these ROIC number have increased from 101% to 113% as of this year. Can you beat that, ladies and gentlemen? Because if you can't beat that, then you might as well join that. I love you and you love me, mish, hing me. If you can make money on the stock, of course, every day is tian mi. Okay, look at another Pop Mark, the distributor and marketeer of Labubu dolls, took the world by storm. You look at the share price, it's gone up substantially. That's up 532% compared to the other mark or super mark. In this case, in Singapore, many of the influencers, financial influencers, some even the research houses are extorting Sheng Siong. I'm not saying anything bad about Sheng Siong, but when it comes to multiplying your wealth and retiring early, in my early 40s have done so, one of the key traits is to follow the money. So following the money means that for every $1 million that you have, you want to make sure that you invest in the highest return. And you can see, for example, Pop Mart, a similar supermarket, except as a supermarket for Labubu dolls and toys, as well as other figurines, have outbid our Sheng Siong, which is touted by many of the financial analysts, which I actually normally laugh when they actually tout the stock because Sheng Siong is stable, Sheng Siong is predictable. So where's the surprise? If there's no surprise, Do you think the share price will surprise? Whereas for PopMart, after Labubu stocks, what is the next stock? What is the next figurine? What is the next figurehead or toy that will actually do it well? You can see, therefore, the share price, well, Sheng Siong has done well, is up 44% in the last 1 year compared to PopMart. PopMart is up 532%. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, compared to Sheng Siong, it's up tenfold. Tenfold. Meaning if you put 1 million, it goes 10 million. Sheng Siong, if you put in 1 million, it's now worth only 1.4 million. Okay, so bear this in mind. So once again, if you're looking for fantastic popping ideas that will outperform for your wealth, do join us for our class on 30th of August. Seats are limited, so do sign up quickly. Now, last but not least, let me cover the next stock that we have extolled, to our, as you can see in our investment classes, we actually try to give you better investor education on things that are going to happen before, not after, so that you can position and make good money in your portfolio. Right. Now, we mentioned in our last class in May that you need to ride on sexy Catel, which is basically contemporary Amperex technology, which is the largest maker of electric battery for electronic cars. Since IPO at 263 just 3 months ago, the share price now has crossed 400, ladies and gentlemen, for CATL in Hong Kong. Are you on it? Because in our class in May, we told and shared with our investors why you should jump on the bandwagon because, again, the key metric ROIC for Catel has grown from 68% in 2022 to 163% as of last year and is still expected to grow this year to 174%. So this is the key metric that we have lived on in my 36 years of investment, and that makes me a good return. But more importantly, it's actually shown in the net earnings, which have grown from 30 million to 51 million, and it's expected to hit 65 million this year. If they do that, earnings would have doubled. So yes, in our classes, we look for companies that will double the earnings because the share price would follow suit. So of course, our next class, 30th August, do sign up because in our class, we hope to be able to bring you deals, before it happened. And two deals that I'm working on very hard is the possible listing of LXJ. As you can see, it's already been reported in the media that this is the IPO that's coming up and it possesses similar traits to Michelin. It possesses similar traits to Lao Pugo, which we also touted, right? That's SXJ, as you can see in the Chinese interpretation, is Lao Xiang Ji, right? It has 53 mainland cities operated on 1,400 restaurants. The number of restaurants is going to grow by another 60%, and more details when we do have it in our videos. But more importantly, we have 10 hour classes. We may be able to present to you such exciting IPOs coming up for the placement. And of course, the other one that you can see, yes, that's a caviar. The brand is quite familiar. That's Kaluga. So the mother of the caviar. That's the mothership company is coming for listing when it's actually in well prepared. And because you are GCP Global investor student, we hope to be able to present this IPO to you. Once again, till then, enjoy and multiply your wealth. Subscribe to our videos so that you'll be informed of money moving stock, in the US, Hong Kong, and possibly Singapore. Like I say,你爱我，我爱你，你是冰城爱。